types of carbon. This is important. This is important. Let's see what it is. It's going to even help us be able to recognize them in compounds and then know what type of a compound it is. So when we say types of carbons, we mean, is it primary, is it secondary, is it tertiary, or is it just a methyl? So I'll start with this one, methane. If you see it like this carbon in methane, is it connected to any other carbon? No. So if it's attached to 0 carbons, then it is going to be a methyl carbon. So it's just a methyl carbon only because it is attached to 0 other carbons. We look at that carbon. Is that carbon attached to another carbon or not? If it's not, then it's going to be a methyl. Then now we look at here, the ones which I'm putting stars on are the ones we care about in this situation, okay? The central ones. So let's go for it. What about the one at the bottom? What type of a carbon is it? Here, this one, is it attached to any other carbon? Yes, it is. So what is it going to be? It's attached to one other carbon at this end of the line, of your bond line. So what is this going to be? Now, when a carbon is attached to one other carbon, it is called a primary. Don't forget, primary means you as a carbon are attached to one other carbon. So it's going to be primary. If you're a carbon alone attached to no other carbon, then you are methyl. In primary, you can write it as 1 degree. It means primary. Then here, this carbon at the center. Is it attached to any other carbon? Yes, it's attached to this other carbon and this one at the end. So that means it's attached to 2 other carbons? Yes. So it's going to be a secondary carbon. Okay, and we write it as 2 degrees. Then this carbon at the center, is it attached to anything else? Yes, it is attached to this one at the end and this one at the end and this one up here. So it's attached to 3 other carbons? Yes. So it's going to be a tertiary carbon. It's a tertiary, and we put it with 3 degrees like this. Then what about this central one? Is it attached to any other carbon? Yes, it's attached here to a carbon here, and another one here, and another one down here, and another one here. So it's attached to 4 other carbons? Yes. So we'll say a quaternary carbon. Although this one, you will not meet it, okay? Chances of meeting it are slim. This is this quaternary, but just know that if you are attached to 4 other carbons, you are quaternary. The ones which you meet primary, secondary, tertiary in this methyl. Right, let's see in a compound. Let's see in a bigger structure before we look at the organic compounds. Bigger structure. Let's identify the number of primary, secondary, and tertiary, okay? For primary, I'll give you a tip. When you're now saying it in a compound, primary is always the terminal guy. Terminal guy is going to be a primary. So he's a primary because if you see, he's connected to 1 other carbon, okay? And then he is a primary because if you see, he's only connected to 1 other carbon, which is this central one, okay? So terminal carbons are always primary. So here is a terminal. Terminal means it's at the end of a line. So how many terminal carbons do I have, or primary carbons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 of them, okay? They're going to be 6. Put it in red. There will be 6. Now let's look for another one. Let's look for the secondary. So secondary, where do you see them? They're at a corner, but they don't have anything else connected there. So here's a secondary. Here's a corner. It's a secondary because there's nothing else connected to this corner. Here's a corner. It's obviously going to be a secondary because there's no one else or nothing else connected to that corner. So it's going to be 3 secondary. What about tertiary? Well, for tertiary, you're now looking at something which is connected at a corner, but it is connected to 3 other things. It has some, if I go, let me show you here for my, it's tertiary. If I come to this guy here, he is connected to 1, 2, and 3 other guys. So he is going to be a tertiary. So here, I'll put it with the box. Then what about him? He is connected to 3 other guys. It's a corner with 3 lines coming out of it. So it's going to be another tertiary. Do we have any other corner like that? No. So it's going to be 2. Then this one, it's a corner with 4 things coming. Then it's going to be quaternary. So this is going to be 1. There's only 1 quaternary. And that brings it to the end. These are the ones that you need to know. Now, last thing is then let's find out if these are primary, secondary, or tertiary things. So now when you have the functional group of a compound connected to a primary carbon, we say it's a primary whatever. So let's say this is a halide, right? So for my halide, the most important guy is chlorine. Chlorine, is it connected to a primary or a secondary or a tertiary carbon? Let's see. Chlorine is connected to a corner like this carbon, and this carbon is only connected to one other carbon, right? This carbon, I'll put it in green. Okay. This carbon right here is only connected to one other carbon, which makes it a primary because it's only connected to one. And because it's a primary carbon, your chlorine is bonded to a primary carbon, which makes the chlorine be the halide be a primary halide. So it's a 1 degree halide. Or you can write it's a primary halide, right? Now let's go to amine. This amine, the C here, is it connected to anything else? No, there's only one carbon. It's not connected to nothing. So it's going to be a methyl. So we can say this is actually methylamine. Okay? Now let's go to alcohols. Alcohols, what do we see? The OH group is the functional group. What is it connected to? Here at the center, it is here at the center, it is connected to a carbon which is connected to 1, then 2, then 3 other guys. So that means 3 other carbons, which makes it a tertiary. So this becomes a tertiary alcohol because the OH is connected to a tertiary carbon. Now we go to the last one. What do we have at the last one? We have this OH being connected to this carbon at the center here. And what is that carbon connected to? One carbon and another carbon, which makes them 2, isn't it? So it's going to be a 2 degrees. This is going to be a 3 degrees. It's a 2 degree, right? It's connected to 2 other guys. So it's a secondary alcohol, which you write as 2 degrees. So it's a secondary alcohol. Okay? So that's a secondary alcohol. And this brings it to the end of this. You should just be able to see and know, and you will be done.